Hey everybody, it's the Herb Guy with the Elder Herb Shop, and welcome back to Where Science Meets Nature, a channel where we discuss the medicinal value of plants and other natural substances found in nature all around us. Today, one of our followers sent us a really interesting question.
Hi, Herb Guy. Do herbal remedies really work?
Thanks for the great question, Heather. Does herbal medicine really work? Or herbal remedies? I tend to look at it as herbal medicine because clearly these are used as medicine. Most people do around the world, except here in the United States, where we're ignorant to the fact that herbs are used as medicine. It's easier to hide than it is to have pharmaceutical companies lose billions of dollars because people are fixing themselves from their backyard. So what I'd like to do today is go ahead and go through about 3 different plants, and I'll do some brief stuff out here in the yard so you can see what it is, and then we'll go back to the office and I'll go over some real science and pull up some studies, and we can read through it, see how we go from there. I've been looking all over the yard this morning for a dandelion flower, but as you can tell, we've just mowed, so there really aren't any popping up. But dandelion is the first plant that I want to discuss, and they're everywhere. There's a dandelion leaf. The thing about dandelion is dandelion's really cool. Dandelion is one of those plants, I find it somewhat ironic, because people spend thousands of dollars to have it removed from their yard, when in fact it's actually one of the most beneficial plants they have in their yard. So it's like getting rid of your Tylenol out of your medicine cabinet. Really a bad idea. One of the good things about dandelion is it kills melanoma cells. That's been proven in clinical trials. It blocks from UV radiation, and not only does it block it, but unlike sunscreen, which tends to throw more free radicals through the body, it absorbs the UV radiation and doesn't allow it to get through and into your body and create those types of particles. And when we get back to the office, I'm going to pull up a few things on that so you guys can see. The second plant that's kind of important to the whole herbal remedy culture, and you've probably even heard of it, it's called elderberry. We have a very small elderberry patch that we just started, so we're not going to get a huge harvest this year. As you can tell, they're getting close to being ripe, and our stupid chickens are eating them. Good thing we have some that are further up. We have a few. We're not going to get a lot this year, but next year, in theory, we'll have a better crop. And the good thing about elderberry is, in many clinical trials, it's been proven to prevent viruses from entering your body. It blocks key proteins that allow viruses to attach to your cells and enter your body in general, which, if you think about it, is kind of cool. Now, the point about herbal remedies is you have to use them properly. Most scientists will agree that if you're going to use herbal remedies, you need to use them in a blend. You can't simply just use a single herb for the most part. And it also depends on how you extract the properties of the herb. Most people use herbs improperly. They typically tend to use capsules. The downside to capsules is your body doesn't necessarily break it down in such a way that you get the full use of all the compounds. Alcohol extracts have been proven over and over again, and 99.9% of the medical studies that are done using alcohol as the basis for the extract. So if you're taking capsules and everything, just be advised, it's not really as helpful, or do some research and you can figure out, going into the woods, 'cause the third plant is on its way here. Yeah, you gotta do your own research and check it out, because if you're just taking a capsule, you may not be getting all the benefits. Now, the third plant is one of the coolest plants that I've come across in the last few years, and it's here in the woods somewhere. Here's one that's kind of dying. I'm in shorts today, so I'm going to try to avoid any poison ivy. I mean, not that I don't have enough jewelweed around to make it not so bad, but this plant right here, it's a really large leaf. It's a single stem with a single leaf, and for the most part, it usually has a flower unless something has eaten it. It's called mayapple. Mayapple has been around for a long time. Another name for it is American mandrake. Obviously, it's been around for a long time. It's a plant, but it's been used medicinally, and it's typically the roots that are used. Now, I happened across a study where they did an extract with the root of this particular plant, and they found out that not only does this plant protect against radiation poisoning, but it reverses the damage that's caused to your cells from that. And that is definitely one of the studies that I'm going to pull up. So if you stay tuned for a few minutes and wait for me to get back up to the office, I will pull that study up, and you guys can see it for yourself. And then you can decide for yourself whether or not herbal remedies really work. All right, let me get back out of this poison ivy infested mess, and I will be back to the office shortly. All right, so we're back in the office, and I've gone ahead and pulled up a study that I've linked below. In the highlighted section, it states various natural compounds have shown efficacy in killing different cancers, albeit not always specifically. In this study, we show that dandelion root extract specifically and effectively induces apoptosis in human melanoma cells without inducing toxicity in non-cancerous cells. What that means basically is that when the dandelion root extract is applied to the melanoma, it has an immediate effect on the melanoma cells, and it kills them, while simultaneously not killing human cells. Now, if you know anything about chemotherapy or radiation therapy, the downside to those is, the general consensus is, with chemotherapy, you're trying to kill the disease before you kill the patient, and sometimes that doesn't always work, so people die during chemotherapy. It's an unfortunate truth, but it does happen. Radiation therapy, well, it might kill cancerous cells, but it creates the DNA damage around where the radiation was treated, so not only do you have, you may be getting rid of the cancer cells, but the radiation around it is going to cause more free radicals and cause more DNA damage to the cells around it, thereby almost having a radiation poisoning effect on it, which seems really counterproductive. However, science seems to think that they have it right. A little further along in the same study, the scientist states, interestingly, the relatively resistant G361 human melanoma cell line responded to DRE when combined with the metabolism-interfering anti-type 2 diabetic drug metformin. Therefore, treatment with this common, yet potent, extract of natural compounds has proven novel in specifically inducing apoptosis and chemo-resistant melanoma without toxicity to healthy cell lines. Now, granted, he just went ahead and restated what he had already said earlier, but it's reaffirming a point. It's reaffirming a point that dandelion is extremely effective against melanoma, and when combined with a pharmaceutical drug, still shows even more benefits against melanoma that's typically considered chemo-resistant. Now, along the same lines, in another study, it is pointed out that there have been many studies and reviews that have been performed as to the effectiveness of dandelion as a medicine. Dandelion has been clinically tested many times, and as you can see, it has been tested for many different ailments and medicinal applications. According to one study, particular attention has been given to diuretic, choleretic, anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, anti-carcinogenic, analgesic, anti-hyperglycemic, anticoagulatory, and prebiotic effects. Now, if you think about this logically, how many pharmaceuticals have you ever seen that have this many medicinal uses? Realistically, for the most part, pharmaceuticals seem to be just one-trick ponies. So now on to elderberry. Now, in this particular study, the phytochemicals from elderberry juice were shown to be effective at stopping the virus infecting the cells. However, to the surprise of the researchers, they were even more effective at inhibiting viral propagation at later stages of the influenza cycle when the cells had already been infected with the virus. This observation was quite surprising and rather significant because blocking the viral cycle at several stages has a higher chance of inhibiting the viral infection, explained Dr. Peter Volchev. In addition to that, we identified that the elderberry solution also stimulated the cells to release certain cytokines, which are chemical messengers that the immune system uses for communication between different cell types to coordinate a more efficient response against the invading pathogen. Now, that's pretty impressive considering this plant grows virtually everywhere, and I can see why a pharmaceutical company would definitely not want you to know about that. I mean, I wouldn't. I wouldn't want to lose billions of dollars. I have shareholders to answer to, remember? And I've decided to save the best for last. Mandrake. Now in the study, see the link below about Mandrake or Mayapple, it was mentioned that Mayapple is used for conditions such as bacterial and viral infections, metabolic disorders, leukemia, lymphomas, venereal warts, rheumatism, and so forth. And it's also been evaluated for its radioprotective capabilities. And in the last 10 years, this herb available at high altitudes has been explored extensively for the development of a safe radioprotector, or protection from radiation damage. A COMET assay used as an additional confirmatory test for the evaluation of DNA protection and support to DNA repair, rendered by our formulation, has shown significant reduction in radiation-induced DNA tail length and DNA damage. Now, to see how well Mandrake worked for all those animals, click on the link in the description section below and read that particular study for yourself. It's more than a little mind-boggling. Well, I'm about at my limit for this video, and you have a lot of research to do if you decide to venture down this particular rabbit hole. Hopefully I've been able to pique your interest enough in this video to give it a like and a share, and if you're feeling particularly froggy, go ahead and click the subscribe button so you don't miss any of our great content. Also, if you've managed to last this long, feel free to leave a comment below or send us a video clip of something you'd like to see us do a video on. Thank you for watching and have a great day from the Elder Herb Shop, and we'll see you in the next video.